Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Last time I threw in that bonus episode highlighting the importance of competitive analyses and making sure that you do situational analyses as well as breaking it down to include a SWOT analysis, to evaluating your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Certainly a very, very important factor to success. But folks, wanted to kick it off this time. Actually, I mentioned a few episodes ago, I'm a volunteer with the Metro Detroit Convention and Tourism Bureau and had an opportunity to volunteer recently at a convention. It's actually, you have people from around the world, but a lot of folks primarily from the U.S., but inventors K through 12, so kindergarten through 12th grade. And so it was so cool to see the young people just so excited and showing off their inventions and prototypes and things like that. It was just so cool. But a couple of things that were in the conference bag that I brought home was, and I thought this, talking about this whole concept of innovation that I highlighted a couple weeks ago. The first one, look at this sticker that says, you got to break it to make it. So again, looking at your policies, procedures, processes, and evaluating where are some areas, where are our weaknesses, what are some opportunities for improvement, how can I improve upon the processes that I have to make my facility, and particularly operations and operations management, more efficient. But you got to take a look at what you have now, break it, so to speak, to improve it and to make it better. So I just thought that was so cool. Also, this little pencil holder, great inventions defy convention. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about LeBron James or Amazon, Tesla, Model 3, whatever the case may be. Again, shaking up the status quo, being innovative, figuring out what exists, perhaps filling in a niche or a market that hasn't been filled yet, or if you're currently competing in a market, certainly like the fitness arena where there's always competition and it's hard to find something that's truly new, you can always innovate and improve upon your own processes. And folks, I'm going to highlight my Rachelle's PF Adventures to the Dearborn location, the Ford Avenue location, towards the end of this episode. But I want to kick off this particular episode with something funny that happened in my own gym, which you all know I refer to as the PF Michigan Commerce Country Club. And so this was the morning of June 12th. So I'm about to leave. I'm doing some quick standing up stretch next to the shoulder press, which I always do before I go. And at this point I was doing a hamstring stretch. So for those who don't know, essentially reaching down and touching your toes. So my head's down, I have my hat on, so I'm totally looking down. And then I see a pair of shoes, and I see some legs and some feet walk by me, through my peripheral vision. And I look, I'm looking down, and then I notice those same feet and legs come right back and stand next to me. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what I was thinking? Here we go. Now what is this? And so I look up, and it's Bill. And I've referenced him probably 2 or 3 months ago, where Bill calls me the happy lady. And so I said, oh, hi, Bill. And he said, oh, you remembered my name. And that's when I went on to tell him, I said, listen, Bill, I remember everything. I'm known for my observational skills and my memory. And I explained to him, I worked in sales for a number of years, outside sales, and it was a relationship-based sale in the medical arena here in Metro Detroit. And so I was in a situation where I had to remember last time I was in this particular cardiac facility or hospital, I was having a conversation with the nurse about she had just had her first grandchild. Okay, next time I go in, I need to make sure to remember what's the latest on that grandchild. So it's just stuff like that. So I said, I remember, but that's because I think mentally I'm trained to remember, to pay attention, and to be observant. And so I wanted to kick off something in this particular episode by highlighting the importance of something, and I cannot emphasize this enough, and that is the power of being observant and paying attention. It is so important because, folks, particularly if you read, if you just drive around your particular area, you can see and learn so much, particularly regarding your competition, what your competition is doing. Because, folks, it's wonderful, if you just have been in your market for a long time and are very successful, and that's wonderful, but who's to say next week a major competitor will not enter your market? It happens on a daily basis across this country and actually around the world. So you got to be prepared, and part of preparation is always being observant and paying attention to things you may get in the mail and things like that, because it's so important. And I wanted to highlight some examples of just things that I've observed and things that I've learned about just from reading my mail and just driving around town and things like that. First off, so on May 8th, Sarah Crawford wrote this particular article, this news story, the Shreveport Times. So back home, that's one of the newspapers that I read on a daily basis, but it was so impressive to see, folks, the largest story, or how should I say this, the late breaking story, which had the greatest, if you know, I won't get into all of this, but Gannett newspapers, the Shreveport Times is a Gannett newspaper. They're a national chain of papers, and so they always have a lead story. And so there's always this big box, on the left side of the page when you're looking at a Gannett newspaper from across the country. So this particular late breaking story or article was on that webpage for May 8th. Fitness center to open soon in former Bossier City Kroger. I mentioned that a few months ago about, there was, in my particular, where my parents live back home, there's going to be a third location opening, and it has opened, but I just was so impressed. Okay, the former Kroger grocery store on Benton Road, which has remained vacant for more than 2 years, will soon have new life with the opening of Bossier City's first Planet Fitness. The fitness center is hopeful to open the property at 801 Benton Road on June 5th, said Ryan Lowe, Planet Fitness District Manager for Shreveport and Bossier City. And so it was approved, I'm skipping here just in the interest of time. The Bossier City Council approved an ordinance authorizing the property sale in March 2017. So it took a little while for it to open, but it finally opened. But so when I talk about being observant, so when you're reading this, when you see these type of things in your newspaper or community newspaper, whatever the case may be, pay attention, because you can learn a lot. So if I'm in Shreveport, which actually has, at the time, 11 different Anytime Fitness locations, actually the state of Louisiana is one of the largest markets for Anytime Fitness, but that's another story. And so we've got a third one opening here, but as you're reading this, there's something that really stood out to me, and just to think through competitive analyses and just evaluating what you're reading. All right, so Ryan Lowe, it said, it had that quote from him in terms of they wanted to be able to open hopefully on June 5th. And so Ryan Lowe, L-A-U-X, Planet Fitness District Manager for Shreveport, Bossier City. That caught my attention because I knew, because I had been in that club. The first location on East Burke Coombs, Ryan Lowe was the general manager of that particular club. Met him, shook his hand, let him know they're doing a great job when I was there for the Christmas holidays break. And so that got my attention. So he is now the district manager. And so any competitors reading that, it's district manager, because that lets you know there's going to be more locations coming. You got to, it's just those little nuances, even in the choice of words, little nuances. Okay, so it'd be one thing if it's a general manager, but district manager lets you know. All right, they're poised for growth, and they'll certainly do well. I just wanted to highlight that shows, as I mentioned a number of episodes ago, how you go from market leadership, opening up in this particular market in 2014, and then May 5th, 2018, you're the lead story. All right, in a Shreveport, Bossier City, that combined total population is probably about 350 to 400,000 people. So a fairly large area. But the lead story was on the Planet Fitness opening. So that shows how you go from market leadership to ownership when you get that kind of coverage. So just paying attention to things that you get in the mail, like Club Pilates. I've highlighted them before, and they have done they've got new management here in the Novi location, new ownership. And so you can just read a lot from evaluating. You may not have a Pilates facility. You may have just a private fitness facility, but it's important that you evaluate competition, because you can get ideas in terms of what they're doing to market their business, their facility, or what they're doing in terms of promotions, whatever the case may be. What type of information can you gather, particularly if you're in the same competitive space? All right, to gather what are they doing, and that way you can neutralize any competitive threats. But this one, you think about referral, you can see the strengths of their offerings and referrals. Refer friends in your first month and win prizes. 1-member referral, you get a free pair of toe socks. 4-member referrals, $50 Club Pilates store credit. 8-member referrals, free 50-minute private training session. Okay, refer friends forever. After your first month, you'll receive a $25 membership credit for each friend who joins, and they get $25 off too. So again, lessons of what you can do in terms of making compelling offers. All right, and they've got 4 membership levels here, so you can see if you can Want to diversify your membership offerings. Membership 1 is 4 classes a month. Membership 2, 8 classes a month. Membership 3, unlimited classes a month. Membership 4, unlimited classes for the year. So just a good example. Now, I've highlighted this particular gym in the fall of 2016 and actually went back there on April 9th. Had an opportunity to go back to the Washtenaw County, Michigan, which is the same, the same area as the University of Michigan for folks who don't know, but certainly a nice area. But went back to their fitness center, the Health and Fitness Center at Washtenaw Community College. It's a higher end facility, which you would expect actually from Ann Arbor when I think about it, but it is a medical integrated facility. And I've been in probably 4 or 5 of these across the area. And so the thing that makes them, and there's a number of things that make them unique, but their training staff is always a huge competitive advantage. And so you pop in, you can learn a lot. Like I said, just from reading the websites of your competitors or other facilities in your area, even if you're not directly competing in the same space. You may have a spinning studio, but it's very important that you evaluate what's going on in your area regardless of facility, because you can learn a lot. But one thing that makes medically oriented facilities, integrated facilities like Washtenaw Fitness Center, Washtenaw County Community College Fitness Center, is the training staff, personal training staff. Okay, they've got a number of folks on their training staff, but one thing that makes them unique is you've got to have at least a bachelor's degree in a fitness or health oriented discipline. All their folks are all in health and fitness oriented discipline. So it makes them unique, but also that gives you a competitive advantage in terms of who you hire, but also how much you charge. There can be a premium in terms of how much you charge, and just want to quickly go through the membership at this particular facility. Individual, there's an initiation fee of $150. Okay, 2+ additional family members, $300. And so the monthly rates individual is $65, or if you pay in advance, the individual is $780. So you can see the price difference. All right, personal training, 3 sessions, $165. So you can see their personal training goes up to 20 sessions in a package for $880. So they are able to charge more. They've got a dietitian and behavior modification person on staff, and they've got package starting with from 1 session all the way to 20. So one 30-minute session with a dietitian is $42, 60 minutes is $72. And so you can understand particularly your medically integrated facilities and what they have to offer. And so you see they've got specialized programs in terms of what they have to offer and things like that. For example, all 8-week programs offer assessments at the beginning and end of the program, individualized exercise program, 2 60-minute supervised group workout sessions or classes per week, a summer report provided to the participant's physician. That's why I say it's medically integrated. All right, unlimited full access to the center, and then the option to join the center with free enrollment at the end of the program. So they've got cancer fitness, cardiac fitness, diabetes fitness, functional fitness, orthopedic fitness, prehab fitness, pulmonary fitness, transitional care, and weight management. So a lot of product offerings, service offerings at your medically integrated facilities. But just wanted to highlight those. For example, got another example here, continuing that same vein of personal training. I actually read about this. This is the Wednesday, May 16, 2018 edition of the Spinal Column, which is a smaller community paper, and it covers suburbs around my area. It doesn't really cover Novi, but it covers some of the surrounding suburbs. But I noticed something, and it made me smile, because there's actually a personal trainer who took out a classified ad, and I was so excited to see this. And it says, personalized in-home fitness training, special introductory offer, only $65 a session. Weight loss, functional training, hypertrophy, strength, power, gain energy and strength, feel and look better. Bachelor of Science in Health at Wayne State University. Professionally trained and certified. Call David Mihelikic, White Lake, and he's got his number here. But again, other trainers aren't doing that. So I just thought that was just fantastic, again, in terms of competitive advantage. Now, Powerhouse Gym in Novi, I'm in the zip code, and so I still get their mailings, and they've had these same mailings going out for years and years and years, but just showing the visuals of the club, and they've got their offer here that they have every summer. Summer for free dues until September. So again, they've got open 24 hours, 7 days a week, fully equipped women's only section, month-to-month memberships, newly remodeled and expanded to 70,000 square feet. And so there's something also important to notice here. There's been a change. Powerhouse Gym is now Powerhouse Gym Fitness Center. So that's interesting. But this Novi location has been highlighted, but there's also another local close by location in Commerce Township, South Commerce fairly newly opened, also owned by the founder who also owns the Novi location. So very, very, very interesting. Again, from a competitive standpoint, a new player has entered the commerce market. It's actually on the border between Commerce and West Bloomfield, but very, very interesting. Now, wanted to continue on here, the post office. Now, I do have a P.O. box, so I get these things in the mail all the time, and it says 76% of consumers trust direct mail when it comes to purchasing decisions. Okay, and as I pointed to a couple of episodes ago, all these people will try to convince you that direct mail, and that's what that is. When it comes to your house, when it comes to your business, when it comes to your P.O. box, it's a direct mail marketing campaign. All right, that's a tactic, direct mail. It could be TV advertising, it could be social media, online advertising, but direct mail, okay? And so, whatever, but as I alluded to, the response rates, the return on investments, depending on what type of offer it is, are not very good, to be quite honest with you. And so you just got to recognize in terms of what you're being sold, what you're being told, with all due respect to the post office, and they certainly get a lot of mail around and do a lot of good things, but you got to recognize direct mail by many people is considered to be junk mail. They don't even open it. It's a waste of time in a lot of people's minds. So the effectiveness is not as high as you would see in some other type of marketing tactics. So we'll talk about that another time on a marketing series, but in that vein, I wanted to highlight something that I received here a couple weeks ago to my home. So I pull it out of my mailbox and I see this, and it's not addressed to anyone, whatever. And the first thing I thought, again, as a former marketer, was, they want to make sure people open this. Because if you address it to someone, whatever, there's nothing here. All right, it just says local postal customer. And it begs your question, and you can tell if there's something in here. All right, so you open it up, and it says in-home massage therapy, deep tissue specialist license, Sam Fareed. And he's got his phone number, his email address, and I saw his picture, and I said, he looks like one of the trainers that was at Powerhouse. And sure enough, it's him. And so, but anyway, was so impressed, and he's got, the technique and what the deep tissue massage does. Call me today to book your appointment, and was also got, I am committed to improve myself inside out, Sam Fareed, and it says Swing the Axe, www, and it's got his YouTube channel on here, but also had this promotional piece. He's more dressed up, and it just talks about his philosophy. I'm a certified trainer, licensed massage therapist, and lifestyle coach. My mission is to spread self-awareness among our society. And so he's got his YouTube channel also, but also got this wristband, stay motivated and swing the axe. But I'm so proud of him, and was just so proud of him, because this is what gets your attention. If you want to do direct mail, this is the kind of stuff that gets people's attention. The curiosity, it's not addressed, there's no return address. What is this? And you can tell there's something else in it. But be creative, be innovative. We're so proud of him, and just had to highlight this in this particular episode. So I'm about to close this episode out now by highlighting my visit to the Ford Road location of Planet Fitness in Dearborn. So had a good workout there, was just great experience. But also, this was on the 15th of June. Had an appointment at 9 o'clock in Dearborn, and so went to that particular location. When I walked in the door, I saw this on the whiteboard: nothing will work unless you do. So it was cute to see that motivation first thing when you walk in the door, but just super cool. But one thing I want to point out, I was so impressed. They've also added the rowers and recumbent stepper in the arm bike. I was so excited to see those additions, because I was thinking, just the incremental offerings of bringing those particular machines into those facilities is huge. I mean, it's really, really important. I mean, in fact, I was on one of the rowers in the cardio area, and there was this guy next to me, and I'm just not friendly at any gym. And so there's this guy next to me, and he says, "Did you go to LSU?" And I just kept right on rowing, I just didn't say a word, and because I had my earbuds in my music, but I heard him talking to me. And then 2 minutes later, he says, "These rowers are great, aren't they?" And so even though I didn't say a word to the man, just ignored him, I could see the excitement. I mean, the excitement around those machines, people giving them a try. I mean, they were happy. I can watch people. Again, I'm very observant, so I'm watching people's body language. Was great to see that. So for those of you, particularly if you're a private facility, if you're a franchise, remember, breadth is so important. Increasing the level of breadth in the types of machines and equipment in your facility is huge. I mean, that was a perfect example of that. So really, really enjoyed my visit to that fitness facility, but also wanted to close this episode out. As you've heard me talk about the David and Goliath dynamic coming together here in Metro Detroit between Planet Fitness and Crunch Fitness. All right, and so we've got now 3 locations here in the metro area. The 5-year aggressive growth plan is 28 locations in 5 years across the Tri-County area. All right, so Metro Detroit, for many of you who are outside of Detroit don't know, we've got Wayne County, we've got Oakland County, we've got Macomb County. So those areas pretty much consist of or constitute Metro Detroit when you hear that phrase. So when you think about, there's a location started out in Westland, down the street literally from Planet Fitness, the Crunch Fitness location is. And then same thing in the Dearborn location, right down the street, literally right down Ford Road in the old Borders bookstore. When I lived in Dearborn, I used to frequent that bookstore. And also the 3rd location at Farmington Hills, which most recently opened. And that location is actually on the border of Novi and Farmington Hills, and it's next to a Harley Davidson Center store. And so very, very interesting. But again, you heard me talk a couple of episodes about what happens when a competitor opens up down the street, a major competitor, particularly with these two, because they have very many, what am I trying to say here? There are so many similarities between these two, but there are some subtle differences. And so when you've got Planet Fitness with the judgment-free zone, but then you've got Crunch Fitness coming into this market, and they were founded in 1989, while Planet was founded in 1992. Crunch Fitness pioneered the no judgments philosophy. So you think about that just inherently neutralizes that competitive advantage of a judgment-free zone, because you've got a major entrant coming in now, which has pioneered that no judgments philosophy. So you can see it right here on one of their marketing pieces. This was an example, but I received this one. I got this one actually inside the club. I've been in all 3. I've heard their sales messages and what's going on. We'll talk more about that in the sales episode, but I want to wrap this episode up here by highlighting this direct mail piece. Now it came in, I think it was a Val Pack or something like that, a monthly mailer, when it came in a couple weeks ago. And this is highlighting their Farmington Hills location, which is the next suburb over from me. So just east of me is Farmington Hills. So highlighting that. And so when you think about the compelling offer that they have here, okay, now open, emphasizing that, got the address, the website, phone number. What they are offering is 1 week all access pass. So that means you go to classes, you can do all different types of things, use the hydro massage bed, tanning beds, have a dry sauna in their location. So utilize anything in the gym. All right, and this is super competitive. When you think about it in relation to Planet, it's because the black card area, which is more of you've got more amenities in that area, would be off limits even with the day pass. All right, so but this one, they're giving you access to the entire gym for free. All right, also join during trial where you can enjoy a $0 enrollment fee. All right, and the fine print at the bottom says valid on all memberships, must redeem by May 30th. No, it's hard to read here because it's orange on black, June 30th. Offer valid at Crunch Farmington Hills only. Additional fees and restrictions may apply. See club for details. But the real kicker was on the back of this. So yeah, they're showing Camp Crunch and they're showing some personal training and all of that, but this is the real kicker. Sign up to win a new Harley Davidson motorcycle. Okay, this is for Peak Plus memberships and Peak Plus Results memberships. So there are 4 membership tiers at Crunch. Covered that several months ago, but their top 2 membership tiers, you sign up for those 2 and you're eligible to win a Harley Davidson. Prize awarded between the Dearborn and Farmington Hills clubs. Taxes and prep fees will be the responsibility of winner. Void where prohibited. No purchase necessary. So again, giving away a Harley Davidson. Now that Farmington is, like I said, right next to the Harley Davidson location, but just compelling and competitive. We're going to talk more about that in the sales episode and the David and Goliath dynamic between these two in the area. But you got to know what your competitors are doing. You got to know. So again, if I'm in Dearborn, I'm in Farmington Hills, and you recognize you may be losing some members, you got to, okay, now why is that? These people are going to Crunch. Why is that? Let me go to their website. Let me see what's going on. Let me see, what are they offering people? And just do this with all of your competitors, regardless of where you are. You can learn so much from just being observant, driving around, paying attention. Even before, I mean, I knew months ago that Powerhouse Gym in Commerce Township was opening up. Why? Because I drive past it on my way to my own Planet Fitness, the Commerce Country Club. But been open for a while now, but I just saw it. So you think about that in your community as you're driving around, just pay attention. You'll see new gyms opening up, a Planet Fitness sign going up, whatever the case may be. Just pay attention, and that'll enable you to be more proactive in terms of neutralizing competitive threats and keeping your members. All right. Thanks so much for your time. Make it a wonderfully fit day.